And then after 10 years, things came out.
Yeah.
So I hope it's nothing like what I'm thinking of. I'm looking at the bigger picture.
I can see where that's leading, right? But we'll stay away from that. I'll give you my take on it, right? And I'll especially, you guys can go home and watch this tonight when you see it. Unfortunately, as on radio, we can't actually show that across. But if you watch the actual goal, the Mason Mount goal, zoom in on David De Gea's face. And the reason why I say that, as a coach, as a manager, you are taught, or you will try and coach across to the person, eyes on the ball. From me, watching that second goal yesterday, David De Gea thought this shot is so easy, where am I going to release it next? So his mind already was on where is the ball going from me now, before the ball was in his hands. And it's like you two have both played cricket. When you play cricket, they tell you when a catch is coming at you, make sure you take the catch first and not celebrate first before you take it. Am I right?
Absolutely.
That is what happened yesterday, in my opinion. The other thing with goalkeeping is, the problem with any goalkeeper, not just David De Gea, and like I said, this isn't me then defending him, this is just the point that we have to reiterate all the time. A striker can go weeks, can go a game missing chance upon chance upon chance. He's never the villain. Unless it's in a world big final, yes? A goalkeeper makes one error. He can make 10 magnificent saves. He makes that one error, it's front page headlines.
Exactly. To go into the perfect examples, the Liverpool v Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. What can you remember about that game? Henderson. But how many saves did he pull off in the actual game before he let this?
Not only that game, but how many games he saved for United as well. How many points he's got for United. I mean, De Gea, he's come from a hero to a zero guy, unfortunately. But then again, it's,
I don't know if it's a confidence thing. And the sad thing about it is, like now, is who's going to buy him? Because
but you know what?
Like PSG, because if United are going down that route and they do want to get rid of him and get in Dean Henderson as their number one,
that's my fear.
Who's going to buy him?
Yeah, but United are looking at buying Henderson.
I mean, I'm sure the Sheffield United fans, we've got one in the studio, do not want to see Dean Henderson go back.
Definitely. Right, so that's the talk.
I think that mistake by De Gea might have been a political one, just to get Dean Henderson back.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of money involved in that, and I think it's something that they're going to really, really have to think about.
I don't know. I think it's probably worth 20 million.
What the goal?
All right, I'll take that from there. Right, let's move on to the other point then. Not long to go before we go into the next hour. But let me ask you this question. Earlier on today, breaking news that said that Ballon d'Or for the first time since 1956 will not take place. First question to you both is, do you agree with that?
I think according to government guidelines and social distancing, things could have been, could have gone ahead with the social media, Zooms and all these kind of technology they've got. But I think, like somebody in the studio was mentioning, if Ronaldo and Messi are not up there, then does it matter if we cancel it?
This is what makes me think, is it, is it deliberately? Is it a controversial thing?
Yeah, and football, whichever angle you look at it, it's a money-making thing. It's a commercial commodity. Football, whether it's awards or ceremonies, whatever, it's all about advertising commercial things.
So while we're on the subject side, who would it have been? Who would you give it to?
Well, I would have given it to Dean Henderson.
He'll probably get the what's this, hashish?
Pardon? What did you just say?
No, there's a the goalkeeping award.
Be careful, Mark. I know it's nearly 9 o'clock. Yeah.
The goalkeeping award, I'm sure, is given after a Russian goalkeeper. I'll have to look that up while we're
don't
on
mention
the break.
that name again.
I think he would be up for that. Who do you think? Well, who would you give it to, Ifti?
Do you know what? There is not one single person that stands out.
Yeah.
It's easy to say someone like Sadio Mane, just because everyone seems to be jumping on that whole, Sadio Mane has been brilliant. Even as much as people And I don't know why a lot of people sort of, don't give him the credit I don't think he deserves. Mohamed Salah, I think he's brilliant for his club and country.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned.
Totally disagree with the two players if he's mentioned. I don't know. That's not a good example.
But I'm glad you mentioned them two. I'll tell you why. Right? If you are talking in the terms of Mane and Salah, let me give you another player then, right? Who I would have personally gone for, because even though the Ballon d'Or, unfortunately for me, is something that always tends to go to a midfielder or a striker. Very, very rarely does a defender or a goalkeeper win
Just
it.
to let the listeners know, Mac used to be a centre-back.
Right, yeah, I'm a bit bitter with that one. We'll not go there. Let me give you a name. Robert Lewandowski.
Okay, very good point.
He has scored more goals than the games he's played. He's a leading striker in Germany. Yeah. He's a leading striker in the cup competitions. He's also the leading striker in the Champions League. Why not?
But you know what you've just touched upon? Not many people look towards the German league.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, everything has to be from Spanish, Barcelona, Real Madrid mainly, or Juventus, AC Milan's.
But isn't it time we moved away from that? Isn't it
I know, but are we in a position to nominate people? No, the people in the committees, who are they? They finance, they're probably backhanders, brown envelopes going about. Like, it happens.
I agree, but if there's one player whose numbers are ridiculous, it's him.
Yeah.
His numbers are what Ronaldo's and Messi's were.
Much better,
without a doubt. And like I say, with them still being...
Are you telling me if, going on to your point of the German, are you telling me if any player at their peak, even Ronaldo, Messi, would score, he's got what, 52 or 51 goals this season?
51 goals?
Yeah. And he's still got Champions League, so he could end up on 60 goals.
Yeah.
You telling me any of those players would do that in the German league, or more than that in the German league? I don't think they would.
That's it, and that's why for me, you see, I'm on the opposite. I actually disagree with them making that decision. I think that regardless of whether the social distancing, regardless of whether the sponsors, I don't care about that. Every year, the reason why we wanted to finish the leagues is to get the titles. The reasons why we wanted to finish the leagues is give the player of the year. The reasons why we wanted to do that.
Not only about that, it was all about the losses they were going to make if they were to hold this, the leagues.
Yeah.
Now every team was going to make minimum 50-60 million pound loss. Can they afford that? No, they'll go into administration, bankruptcy. So they thought, let's do it this way. No fans, let's get the games ahead. A formality, put them on Skies and all these channels just to get over and done with.
Very, very true. Right, last few minutes then we'll go on to the, like I said, the news, the adverts and the news. Quick question for you both now, right? Only 2 or 3 things to be decided. Relegation, straight out battle between Bournemouth and Watford, because Brighton are now safe. I think Aston Villa got a chance tomorrow. Who do you think is going to go down with Norwich?
I mean, I was thinking about this earlier on. What a ridiculous time to sack your manager, Watford, and I just, however this sounds, I just hope they go down, because I just do not understand why you would. I mean, they were in such a mess when he took
Nigel Pearson.
Nigel Pearson taken over, and whatever you can think whatever about him, but he's done a job.
Definitely.
He's
so
done a job.
Watford's the first one. Who's your second one?
I'm gonna say Villa, so we get Grealish.
Who's the other two?
Villa's my childhood team, so I don't want Villa to go down. And Grealish is such a great person as well.
And who's your two then? Watford and Watford and Bournemouth.
Bournemouth, definitely. I'm not too fussed about.
And at the top,
Watford.
then let's call the last two. Then between the last 3 places, Chelsea, Leicester, or Man U for the last 2 in the Champions League.
As long as I don't I won't want Man U to be there. Anybody.
So the top 2?
Top. We know Man City and Liverpool have got days.
Chelsea and Man U.
Ooh. Chelsea have got 2 tough games to come.
Because
Leicester have got to play Man U, right?
Leicester, Man U, that's the last game. Man U got West Ham in a couple of days, I think.
That's a decider.
Yeah, and then Chelsea have got, first of all, Liverpool tomorrow night, and then they've also got on the last day they've got Wolverhampton, who will be fighting for that last 5th or 6th place.
Well, I just can't see Leicester. I'd be surprised if Leicester get more than. Well, they're definitely. I think.
I mean, they're the least team with the performance-wise, but they beat Sheffield United.
Leicester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've been, not having a good little, run, and then all of a sudden they be. So anything can happen on the day.
And.
But it'll be good to see Leicester.
To finish off, then Leicester. Yeah. Now you mentioned Leicester. Who's got the golden boot? Sorry, we've got Vardy up there at the moment. Aubameyang up there. I think Mane's still up there. I think he is.
No, Mane's it's Aubameyang.
Who do you think is going to get it?
I'd love to see Aubameyang.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to ask you because I know where that's going to go.
You want to see Mane?
Listen, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you guys, and inshallah both of you will stay for the cricket hour because we've got plenty to talk about, especially the result today, England beating West Indies by 113 runs. We've also got hopefully someone joining us from the Allama Iqbal Cricket League telling us about the results from yesterday and also what their plans are for this coming season with the pandemic. Unfortunately, it's cut the season down. So please stay tuned and we will be back after the ad break and the news. It's been great having you. Thank you, Taya. Anyone else who wants to get involved in the second hour after we've had the phone call in, it's 0114 261 81, or you can WhatsApp us on 07939 849 339. And the last thing that I want to say is, our views are just our views, and we would love to hear your views because, as I mentioned earlier on, sport is all about opinions. There's no rights. There's no wrongs. We all have them. We all are entitled to them. And at the end of the day, it's how we see a game. How we respect each other's opinions that's what I want. And that's why when the phone call comes through, we respect every single opinion that comes through. So pick up that phone and hopefully, inshallah, we will see you after the ad break and the news just after 9 o'clock. See you in a bit.
मैं निकला वो टैक्सी लेके वो रास्ते पर एक मोड़ आया मैं उठे टैक्सी तोड़ आया मैं घर आया और बुढ़ी ने सानू बहुत रुलाया फिर मिस्टर कंपनसेटर नवी टैक्सी लेकर आया फिर मैं मुस्कुराया
अगर आप मुस्कुराना चाहते हो तो मिस्टर कॉम्पनसेटर को अपना टैक्सी क्लेम दो और अभी मिस्टर कॉम्पनसेटर जो क्लेम के बादशाह हैं अपफ्रंट रेफरल देते हैं। हाँ, आपने ठीक सुना, अपफ्रंट अपना 2000 पाउंड ले लो। कॉल करो 0114 3863 386। Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been involved in a road traffic accident or suffered a personal injury in the last 3 years? Then why not come direct to your local experts at Allison Law Solicitors? Allison Law Solicitors are here to get you back on the road and your life back on track. They're recognised personal injury and industrial disease specialists with dedicated and experienced lawyers who've won thousands of pounds in compensation. And of course, it's no win, no fee. Call now on 01142 586 966 or come in and see us at 437 to 441 London Road, Sheffield. Allison Law Solicitors, a local firm for local people and helping you when you need it most.
What have you missed the most? A haircut? A visit to the shops?
Oh, you look lovely in that.
What about a nice lunch?
Fish and chips, please.
Salt and vinegar with that.
Or an afternoon in a pub garden? Fancy a casual bike ride? Or perhaps something a little more intense? Or maybe you want a relaxing day out. Whatever you've missed, get out there and enjoy it again safely. Find out how at gov.uk/enjoy summer safely.
At Kuchenhaus, we deliver German quality at affordable prices. It's what we pride ourselves on. Have you been quoted by Wren, Wix, B&Q or any other kitchen outlet? At Kuchenhaus Sheffield, we're confident that we won't be beaten on quality or price. With our range of bespoke German-engineered kitchens, direct from our factory in Germany, which is why we believe we'll beat any like-for-like quote. Visit the showroom on Attercliffe Road, click on kuchenhaus.co.uk or call 0114 256 0888.
Lux Laser and Beauty Clinic, now open, 244 to 248 London Road, Sheffield, S2
4LW. We specialise in weight loss treatments, laser hair removal, beauty services, nails, hairdressing, spa sessions and much more. 50% introductory offer for laser treatments only. Visit us on www.luxlaserandbeautyclinic.co.uk or call us 0114 255 9888.
How do we control coronavirus now? This is Scott. He's a nurse.
NHS Test and Trace helps stop the spread of the virus in our communities. If you've got symptoms, even mild ones, get a test immediately. Don't leave home for any other reason. If you test positive, we can trace the people you've been in contact with and contain the virus. So get tested and protect each other.
To get a test, go to nhs.uk/coronavirus or call 119. Stay alert. Control the virus. Save lives.
और माँ के हाथों बनी मिठाई की लज्जत सबसे निराली, इसीलिए तो माँ जी ने शेफील्ड में दुकान बना ली। जी हाँ, माँ जी स्वीट्स डार्नल, ताज़ा मिठाई, मजेदार केक्स, कतलम में उम्दा गलेटो, जलेबी और रसमलाई जो सबको पसंद आई। निकाह, शादी ब्याह, सालगिरह और पार्टीज को माँ जी की स्वीट्स से मीठा बनाइए। आज ही तशरीफ लाइए। माँ जी स्वीट्स, 659 स्टैनफोर्ड रोड, डार्नल, शेफील्ड। माँ के प्यार की तरह खालिस। माँ जी स्वीट्स।
Sheffield's Link FM.
From the Sky News Centre at 9, trials of Oxford University's coronavirus vaccine have shown it induces a strong immune response in healthy adults. Initial tests of the jab also appeared safe with few side effects. The Prime Minister says he's hopeful but isn't completely confident there'll be a vaccine this year. Boris Johnson says we must continue to social distance.
If you talk to the scientists, they think the sheer weight of international effort is going to produce something, and they're pretty confident that we'll get some sorts of treatments, some sort of vaccines that really make a difference. But can I be right now, can I tell you that I'm 100% confident? No.
Amber Heard alleges she was afraid Johnny Depp was going to kill her at points during their relationship. She's been a witness at his libel trial with the Sun newspaper after it referred to him as a wife-beater, which he denies. Her written statement detailing her abuse claims was also submitted to the High Court in London. Our reporter Inzamam Rashid says Ms Heard spoke about their early days.
She said that she would call it a warm glow that he would have, but she also mentioned how she was in a relationship with two people. She said she loved Johnny Depp but was terrified of the monster that he had become.
Scotland's easing its restrictions on arrivals from Spain, which will allow holidaymakers to visit without going into quarantine when they return. The change is expected to come into effect later this week. Marks and Spencer says 950 jobs are at risk as part of plans to reduce store management and head office roles. The company says it will try to cut posts by offering staff voluntary redundancy. In sport, and Wolves are attempting to stay in the hunt for European football. They are 1-0 up against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. And Nicki Minaj has confirmed she's pregnant with her first child. The rapper's posted a photo on Instagram with the hashtag Preggers. That's the latest. I'm Victoria Lawrence.
Welcome back. You're listening to Monday Night Sports on Link FM. Now we're moving into the second hour. This is where we get involved with the local cricket scene and also the cricket scene itself, which is what's going on at the moment. So we're going to touch on quickly a little bit about the England cricket team and West Indies result in the second test, and then hopefully we will be joined by someone from the Lam Iqbal Cricket League telling us about all the fixtures yesterday and what is going on with their season due to the pandemic and the changes that they've possibly made to try and accommodate a season to finish. West Indies earlier on, like I said, they lost to England by 113 runs. Was that on the cards, Zahid?
No, it wasn't. I thought at one stage, they were 113 for 4, and it looked as though that the game's heading towards a draw. And there was a possibility that if they hang on in the middle, that they can get a draw out of it, and that would have meant that they won the series 1-0.
I think it's all about momentum, though, and the thing is, when you see what happened after the tea break, they got that lucky break just before tea, and then all of a sudden the collapse came. 198 all out.
All out, yeah. So within about 70 runs, there were 6 wickets.
Yeah. So that leads me to ask you this little simple question, right? We keep going on about 5-day test matches. When was the last time a test match actually went 5 days off cricket? I'm not on about rain day delays. I'm on about cricket. When was the last time that happened?
Is that a question, or is
no,
it just...
I'm just putting it to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's been some time, but because of T20 and 1 days, people are playing exciting cricket. And this is good for the cricket. But to me, I've always been a test player. I've loved watching test. It shows how good a batsman is, how good a team is, and this is what cricket's all about. It's been years, though it's boring. People have lost the momentum for cricket. People don't want to watch test cricket anymore.
And we have Ifti here, who's come back and joined us in the studio. Ifti, what do you think to the result today with the cricket, with West Indies losing by 113 runs?
To be honest, I wasn't watching it at all, and I just got an update on my phone, and I saw they were 9 down. I was absolutely, I didn't follow the day today at all. I was absolutely shocked because personally, I starting the test with the obviously, the time lost with the rain, I felt like England had shot themselves in the foot in the first innings by batting too slow, but then. Sort of today, as I said, I've not seen any of it, but
I mean,
Stokes. Either some brilliant bowling or just.
I mean, Stokes was absolutely brilliant. First of all, we've got to take our hat off to him. 78 of 57 balls, to get that lead up.
That's his, and it just shows what a great cricketer he is. Because in the first innings, his first innings 100 was just completely different to the way he normally plays.
And then if we also look at it on the second side, you mentioned, and Zahid also mentioned that at one stage, the West Indies looked as though they were going to save it with 137 for 5. But when that 5th wicket went down, they've lost 6 wickets in literally 60 runs.
60 runs, yeah.
But what would you say in terms of, that's 1-1 now? There's 1 to play.
Is there 1 to play?
I'm sure there's 1 to play.
Right, sorry.
So, West Indies obviously must be the underdogs for that now. England will have...
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was shocked at the result from the first test because, hats off to the West Indies. They have got a lot of players that have refused to obviously travel as well, and they're good players. Hetmeyer, I think, Pooran, I don't know whether he's refused or whether he's not available. Bravo. So they're 3 key players for those guys, and they've obviously, they've won the first test without those in their team. So credit to them. That was a surprise. But to be honest, like you've just said, I'd have England favourites. Where's the next test?
Next test is, I'll get that up for you in a bit.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think West Indies, they went down a bit a few years ago, but they're coming back up and they're getting a lot of young players.
Yeah, I agree,
and all these big guys coming in and bowling at 80, 90 miles an hour, bouncy pitches, and I think he suits the West Indies just as much as he suits Broad and
they seem
the English
to have
bowlers.
Some genuinely fast bowlers, and within their ranks, I think they've got sort of 2 or 3 guys that are hitting 90 mile per hour.
Yeah, they're dynamic, aren't they? Aggressive. But the only thing what they do like West Indies is batting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it now. The next test match is literally 4 days away, 24th of July. So West Indies really have to pick themselves up to get ready for that.
I've got a quick question while we're on the cricket subject. What did you think of the Archer incident?
I find that very, very awkward to actually witness because, I don't know if you guys will be aware, but he's also been issued with a written warning. You know what is that? Is that meaning that you mess up once more and your international career's over?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go into this. I don't want to take the subject onto something else, but
no, but I think it is related, though, isn't it?
I saw something regarding him being lazy because he's bowling at 85 and 86 miles per hour. But then I've seen Mark Wood at times bowl at 85, 86 miles per hour. I've never heard anyone call him lazy.
I think
I just feel like sometimes you look at certain things what are in the media and said by certain people in the media, and you just think, like I said, I don't want to go down a certain line, but
look, the thing is, like I said in the football hour, this is our own opinion. So, you know, we're all entitled to that. So don't hold back, please, because that's what probably will make this show, is that we want people to say what they feel and how they feel.
I mean, cricket's always been an institutional racist game. Yeah. Why is it that we've had so many Asians from the Asian subcontinent in Leeds, Bradford, but nobody could ever get through to Yorkshire? Yorkshire never had a black Asian from BME community in that team. Why? Because of certain people in certain positions. Yeah,
that's something I think.
So that when somebody came, then it broke the ice.
Yeah.
What I feel about with cricket, like you just mentioned with the Yorkshire, and if you look at the cricketers that are playing at the minute, and that are played over the years, I mean, I saw Adil Rashid play when he was 15, and there was no doubt that when you watch him play, that he is going to be a professional cricketer. No doubt. But what I mean is, he was outstanding. Like, the talent he had was outstanding. And sometimes I feel like you have got to be outstanding,
exceptional,
to make it. You can't just be an average Joe, because somebody that's...
So if I'm right, reading between your words there, or between the lines that people tend to say, to be accepted or to make the grade in whether it's county cricket or especially international cricket, you have to be above and beyond someone of a different colour.
I feel like, I mean, yeah, yes. If you wanna,
I think it's simple because I mean, you know,
if you think about the cricketers that are out there, Moeen Ali, Adil Rashid, this young lad who's coming through now, Saqib Mahmood, these guys are exceptional cricketers. What I'm saying is, they're not just your ordinary county cricketer, run-of-the-mill county cricketer.
Spot on.
But I mean, each county has its own system as well. I think, unfortunately, Yorkshire were very late in bringing the people.
We all know the history of Yorkshire, and not forget internationals. Yorkshire didn't even look beyond Yorkshire at one stage.
That's right.
And they have changed the mentality recently. We're going to go to the call. We've got a line coming in. Who's on the phone? Assalamu alaikum. Who am I we talking to?
Walaikum salam, it's Afraz here, Alam Akbar League Secretary.
Walaikum salam, Jazakallah khair for calling in.
No problem. How is everybody? Zaid Salim?
Assalamu alaikum, Afi, are you okay? And by the way, just for Mike's information, Afi was a presenter on Monday Night Sports.
We'll get him back in one day, inshallah, soon to join us. And we've got Ifti in the studio and all, Afi.
Assalamu alaikum, Ifti.
Walaikum salam, Afi. How are you? You okay?
I'm good. Yourself?
Alhamdulillah, good.
So let's touch on, first of all, congratulations on getting cricket, especially local cricket, back on the road, and it's so good to hear, the local cricketers back on there. How did everything go yesterday?
Alhamdulillah, it went fine. We had just two grounds that were not available, so we've had to rearrange them 2 matches. But other than that, we managed to get 4 matches on go, and I think the lads just wanted to get out and play cricket, so they tried their level best to get some pitches, but it didn't happen. So not to worry. For this season, because of the pandemic, we've allowed to rearrange games. Previous season we weren't allowing this, but this year we've allowed it. So we just want to play cricket.
Yeah. Afi, how was your game?
I missed the game myself.
Okay.
I was out of town. I was really looking forward to it because we had a local derby, so we were playing centre. So I was really looking forward to it, but it was a last-minute thing where I had to drop out, and it was a comfortable game in the end.
Afi, that's not what we've heard, that you've had to drop out.
Am I missing something here?
Afi, I'm not getting involved.
There's a running joke every season. I always get dropped, and
especially in the big games.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's always this, but it doesn't. I'm always there. If you look at the stats, I'll miss the odd game, and I'll play rest of the time, and I get to ball and bat and everything. So, it's just a running joke, man.
Yeah, are you becoming a physio or a drinks man?
We're not allowed them this year due to the social distancing. So there's
And
no
can you tell the viewers how many years the league's been going on for?
So we've done 14 years. This is our 14th year.
Mashallah, that's
Really?
Yes.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah, it does. It does.
And by the way, Ifti's looking for a team. If anybody's listening, he's really desperate to play in Ila Mike Bartlett.
Unfortunately, I think I've been signed up without myself even knowing. But Afi might know more than me if he's doing the.
I've not received your request just yet, unless you know.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I've not received the request.
So while we're still on that side of it, Afi, right? What are the changes this year then to accommodate actually getting the season finished? Or some sort of normality? What is there any changes whatsoever?
There is. We've revamped the league this year. So normally what we do is we play 11 home games, depending on how many teams we get. So we normally play 11 home and 11 away games, and then that determines the league position. So you finish either top or you get relegated. You finish the last two positions. This year, because of the time limit, we've only had 9 weeks available to us. So this year I decided that let's try the Pakistan format, the PSL format. Let's try this. Let's split the groups into 2. So we've got 12 teams, so we split it into 2 groups of 6s, play each other once. You play 5 games, and then the top 4 will go into a quarterfinals. So that's how we'll do it. So we'll you play Group A versus Group B. We'll get it going from there. So it's the league positions that will determine who plays who. So number 1 will play number 4, and then vice versa. And then that's your quarterfinals. We'll have a semi-final on 2 separate dates, so everybody can go and watch these, and then we'll have a final, and that will determine the league this year. So that's how we've done the league.
That's brilliant. And does that mean then that I'm reading again between the words that you're saying? Does that mean that there's no possibility of any actual cup competitions?
There is. So what we do is a cup competition. It's a weekday cup competition. So we'll have the top 2 teams in Group A and top 2 teams in Group B given a bye to second round.
Right.
And then the rest will play 1 round. Then obviously we'll go straight into quarters, semis, and a final.
Mm-hmm.
So this way we reward the teams finishing in positions 1 and 2 after game 2, and then they get a day off as such, and the rest will play. So then we'll spread it out. We'll have 2 games on towards Firth Park, Shire Green, Caribbeans, that side of town, and then we'll have 2 towards Netherhead, Sharon Millhouse, this side of town. So we'll split it into 2 areas so everybody can enjoy cricket. I'm conscious of the fact that there's logistics issues for everybody. You don't want people coming from Firth Park or Rotherham all the way to Dromfleet to watch a match. So we'll split it. So it kind of encourages locals to go and watch local cricket. So we don't want too much of a crowd because of the COVID situation.
Yeah.
So this way I'll split it and I'll keep the crowds away from.
You know what? I'm sat here listening to your words, right? And I'm absolutely in awe, and I absolutely applaud you, right? Because I've not done cricket tournaments. I've done a lot of football tournaments in my time, and I know the logistics that it takes behind doing something, and especially when you have to change things. And for what you're doing, first of all, in getting an actual season up, then to actually get a cup competition, you know what, I'm absolutely in awe, and I actually want to take, and I'm sure Zahid and Ifti are the same, for you to be able to organise something for the lads so that they can get a season going is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. I love the game. I love the fact that I'm in a position where I can, put cricket on for these guys and keep them off the streets, get them occupied for a couple of days, get fitness going on, get the local community involved. So I enjoy this.
Having watched a few games, Afi, they love it. The teams that play in they're absolutely so competitive. Good to see. I watched a bit of a game yesterday, not for long, up at Shire Green. It was Kashmir. I'm not sure who they were playing.
Yeah, Kashmir versus
El Marshall. And I sort of left when they were a couple of wickets down for not many, and I've heard they've ended up chasing 210 off
211. Yeah,
211. Yeah.
From the match report I got, apparently it was a thriller. There's some sort of a really exciting ending because after 22nd over. This year, Mac, we've introduced power play. So we've got 5 overs of power play, which the batting team can ask at any time of the game. Okay. So as long as they let the umpire know before the over that they're taking power play, 2 fielders are only allowed to stand outside. So from the over 22, I believe, they took power play at Marshall and they pushed it 10, 12 and over. And then in the last 3 overs, they managed to get 30-odd runs.
Brilliant.
From what I'm told, Haroon Tariq, he got 70 odd, and Afzal Ahmed 60 plus. So I'm not sure who Abdal is, but Haroon, I've seen him.
Yeah, the young. He was batting when I was there for a short while. Yeah, he looked good. He looked. I've seen him play before. He's a good young player.
Yeah, he's been developing. I've been watching him. He's been developing. So he's turning into a decent bat. And this is the whole aim of Allama Iqbal, was to give young talent a chance, because I've been involved in cricket a long time. I played midweek cricket, and from what I know from midweek cricket is, if you've got a bit of money and you've got a bit of contacts, you end up pulling in pros, and that stifles development in my mind anyway.
Yeah. Well, I think it can work. It depends. It can work both ways, can't it? I mean, you can learn off these guys, but you've got to find the balance. You can't.
This is it. Yeah. I've never seen a team. I mean, I played in Premier Division. I played A Division, and I played B. So when we started the team. We went to A, and then from A we went to Premier. And I've never actually seen it where these pros have sat down with local lads and given them that knowledge or the expertise. And,
but sorry to interrupt you there, right? But do you think that's more a fault of the pro or more a fault of the club itself? Because a pro is someone who comes from wherever he comes, whether it's Pakistan, India, whether it's Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. He can come from wherever he wants in the world. He's basically coming to earn his keep. Now, if he's earning his keep and his contract states that you turn up, you play the game, you perform, you go home. Now, if the club then don't stipulate into that contract that, listen, if you then come to junior nights on XYZ day and take the under-13s or under-15s or pass on your knowledge, is that really down to the fault of the professional?
I think...
But I agree with you there. Because
sorry to interrupt.
The clubs that sponsor these, they bring them over, the overseas, and this is in their contract. But midweek cricket is just local cricket where it's normal clubs, they don't have this setup to say, right, you're going to coach these. But at the game, I've not seen it. I mean, my own club, we did it. We eventually gave in. My rule was we're never going to pay pros. But then, came to pressure. Lads wanted a pro, and we got pros in, and we paid them. So we were getting them in on a Wednesday night, paying them money just to come so we can be competitive. And I've not once did they say to one of my lads, this is how you should be bowling off cutters. This is how you swing the ball. This is how you bat. This is what you're supposed to do. None of that.
I think that's down to the individual, isn't it? Like you said, because I've played a lot of cricket, and I've come across a lot of these these professionals that have come over from overseas, from all different countries, and you come across the odd. It's a bit of both. I mean, you might want to sort of tap into their knowledge and say, how do I do this? How can I improve this? Or there's some of them, like you said, they'll just out of their own off their own back, will just come up to, they'll spot a youngster that might have a bit of talent, and they might sort of come up to him and sort of say, look, do this. This will help you develop, or do this. But I agree with you in what you're saying.
I mean, like
most of them, they won't do that. They'll just turn up, get their money, and go.
What Mark was saying about the financial gains, a lot of the ones that come from our countries, unfortunately, I've got some bats, do you want some? I've got some nice gloves and pads, and that's what they bother about. They're not bothered about...
That's the sideline, and I understand that, and I can take that. But what about this, Afi? Do you guys in the Allama Iqbal League, do you have a quota to say that there must be 2 or 3 under-21s or under-18s or something similar to that line?
No, we've not introduced that. The only thing what we do have is the ruling is that we don't allow pros.
Right, that's good.
Cricketers, paid players is different. If they want to pay their players, that's fine. But as long as they're not first-class cricketers, first-class cricketers, we don't allow them into our league. Now, we had a similar rule with Quaid-e-Azam that we wouldn't allow Quaid-e-Azam league players to come and play in our league.
So that means I'm done for.
No, we changed
that.
We changed it.
I think they've changed it now.
Changed because to me, I play the game. I go on the circuit. I speak to a lot of lads.
Yeah.
And as league secretary, I like to, tap into their knowledge, because, there's lads who played in higher level than me, and I'm always one to learn. I love learning and finding out new ways of improving our game. This is why we've always moved every year. We've evolved 14 years, but we evolve every year. We don't just stop and say, this is the way we're going to do it. We're not going to change. So tapping into players who've played at a different level, and, they convinced me that Quaid-e-Azam League players, you should allow them. That will benefit the lads. They'll see, like, normal lads So these aren't paid players, they're not professionals, just normal, good standard cricketers. They'll see that and that'll encourage them, rather than getting pros in, where pros are going to say, well, I want my money and this is it, I'm here. You know, Sunday and Tuesday is my practice day. This is what I used to get told. Well, it's our practice game. Saturday crickets are, you know, they'd come in bowling, pelting it down, bowling 80, 90 miles an hour, whatever they can bowl. And then come Sunday, 2 hops, they'll bowl. You know, I've seen it on Wednesday where they're taking 1 step and bowling.
Afi, we're going to be coming to a break in a few minutes. Do you want to go through the results, please?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
so,
please.
Al Mahdi versus Alison Law. Alison Law batted first. They made 198. Mohsin, young lad, got 80 not out. Asif Azim, an old veteran, 60. Al Mahdi chased it 27 overs, 200 for 5. So, you know, form team, picking up from where they left off. And I think they're the favourites this year. Eagle Stars, 215 for 7 in 30 overs. Ishtiaq got 47, Shafqat got 29, Rizwan 29, Ishtiaq, Eagles got 215, and Ishtiaq 11s were 144. Abidal Sensar, Abidal made 185, Adib Khan top scorer in 62. It was reported that he sent Mohammed Abbas to Chesterfield, some big sixes. Tufail supported Adib with 58, and in reply, Sensar only managed 136. Ravnar scoring 48. El Marshal Kashmir, that was the game to watch. So 200 Kashmir bat first, 211 all out. El Marshal won by 3 wickets. Haroon getting 70 plus and Afzal supporting him. Atok versus Sharo. Atok are newcomers to this league, so let's see what they're all about. I mean, Atok won a lot of the league titles in midweek cricket. Tuesday cricket, they're known as Babuti, so they won titles there. So let's see if they can, you know, carry that on in Allama Iqbal. So they're the team to beat.
Brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant to hear.
The Afi new signing for Attack is Ifti Afzal, so watch out for this demon bowler.
We'll have to wait and see whether that aspires. But thank you very much for that. I did have a few questions, but I'll hold on to them for next time. All right. Thank you very much for your input and appreciate that. And like I said, we look forward to working with the Allama Iqbal League over the coming weeks and giving more airtime to the different captains. Like I said, there are some few fun questions that I had lined up, but we're going to go to the ad break and then let everyone else come on and all. 0114 261 8181 or 07939 849 339. We'll see you in a short while.
The voice of the communities. 96.7 Link FM. Link FM.
और माँ के हाथों बनी मिठाई की लज्जत सबसे निराली, इसीलिए तो माँ जी ने शेफील्ड में दुकान बना ली। जी हाँ, माँ जी स्वीट्स डार्नल, ताज़ा मिठाई, मजेदार केक्स, कतलम्मे, उम्दा, गलेटो, जलेबी और रसमलाई जो सबको पसंद आई। निकाह, शादी ब्याह, सालगिरह और पार्टीज को माँ जी की स्वीट्स से मीठा बनाइए। आज ही तशरीफ लाइए। माँ जी स्वीट्स, 659 स्टैनफोर्ड रोड, डार्नल, शेफील्ड। माँ के प्यार की तरह खालिस, माँ जी स्वीट्स।
This is a message from the government about the next stage of controlling coronavirus with NHS Test and Trace. To protect your friends and family, testing and tracing must become a new way of life. If you have symptoms, you need to get a test immediately. Don't leave home for any other reason. If you test positive, we will contact you to trace people who you might have infected. From now on, if you're told you've been exposed to an infected person, you must self-isolate for 14 days. Play your part and do the right thing so we can safely return to a more normal life. Go to nhs.uk or call 119. Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
शुक्र है पापा मैं बहुत तुझे क्यों शुक्र होगी है ना मेरा भाई शुक्र नहीं मिकी मैं शुक्र अदा पे करना अपने भाई कलीम हरी नहीं ओ कह रहे शाही बफे वाले जिन्ना उन चस्का चाय भी नाल खोली है ते चस्का चाय विच सुबह दा नाश्ता पराठे अंडे हलवा पूरी चने गुड़े वाली चाह सब्ज चाह लस्सी ठंडी ठा ते पियो बार डेजर्ट विच मिलसी आइसक्रीम डोनट ते खीर मिल्क शेक ते शीशा लाउंज भी सुबह 9 बजे तो लेकर रात 11 बजे तक 24 Road, Darnell, Sheffield, S93FP.
whether it's for your home or your business premises. Visit the Wentworth Contracts showroom on Princes Street, Rotherham, to see their range of carpets and carpet tiles, wood and laminate flooring, vinyls and even artificial grass too. With landlord special offers, including carpets at just £3.50 per square metre. This family-run business supply and fit them all. And if you can't get to the showroom, Wentworth Contracts will bring samples to you. For details, call 01709 552 556 or click on wentworthcontracts.com.
At Kuchenhaus, we deliver German quality at affordable prices. It's what we pride ourselves on. Have you been quoted by Wren, Wix, B&Q or any other kitchen outlet? At Kuchenhaus Sheffield, we're confident that we won't be beaten on quality or price. With our range of bespoke German-engineered kitchens, direct from our factory in Germany, which is why we believe we'll beat any like-for-like quote. Visit the showroom on Attercliffe Road, click on kuchenhaus.co.uk or call 0114 256 0888.
मैं निकला वो टैक्सी लेके वो रस्ते पर एक मोड़ आया मैं उठे टैक्सी तोड़ आया मैं घर आया और बुढ़ी ने सानू बहुत रुलाया फिर मिस्टर कंपनसेटर नवी टैक्सी लेकर आया फिर मैं मुस्कुराया
अगर आप मुस्कुराना चाहते हो तो मिस्टर कॉम्पनसेटर को अपना टैक्सी क्लेम दो और अभी मिस्टर कॉम्पनसेटर जो क्लेम के बादशाह हैं अपफ्रंट रेफरल देते हैं। हाँ, आपने ठीक सुना, अपफ्रंट अपना 2000 पाउंड्स ले लो। कॉल करो 0114 3863 386। Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, my name is Safa and my name is Zaina. You are listening to Link FM 96.7 FM.
96.7 Link FM. Link FM.
Welcome back to the Monday Night Sports Show on Link FM 0114 26181, and we have got a bit of a substitution in the guest chair. We have got, I think I should be sat on that side, Shad, and you should be actually sat on this side.
No. As you were just talking about with Afi, Mike, we like to get young people involved.
I actually like that. You know what? I you can have the show now. I actually like the fact that the youngest here, because I think if I'm actually right, I'm actually older than you, aren't I, Zahid?
Can't be.
I feel 21, so I don't know.
That's all right. Then I'll take it as that then. But yeah, thank you for joining us on the show.
You're welcome.
And appreciate you making an appearance. Is there anything you want to add to what we've just been talking about, whether it's the England or the Lama Iqbal?
Zad, can you just quiet, please? We'll just talk about. I mean, obviously, I was listening to what Afra was saying about the cricket. Oh, it's an opportunity for cricketers to come forward. It's an opportunity for us to develop, and it's not always that easy. There's a lot of barriers out there, and from that, we've actually. So this season we started an under-11s cricket team as well.
And have they had any games so far?
Today was our first game.
Oh, brilliant! How have they got on?
They've done really well, to be honest. They played against a team called Hollins End, up sort of Burley End, that side. It was they've done really well. They're a bit overexcited. I think the parents are overexcited as well.
Yeah, but rightly so. You know, rightly so.
Yeah, well, the kids, the parents need to calm it down a bit. Come on. But I had to tell them off a few times, being umpire on the pitch, because it's all young kids, so it doesn't matter which team you are. You're there to support each other. You're there to clap each other off and all that. So, but I think the parents were getting a bit too. Like you see on football.
Yeah.
If you do kids football, they get really serious. I think our parents were the same, but alhamdulillah, it was brilliant. They had a very good game. They won hands down. They made 124 runs in 16 overs, and it's pairs cricket, so you had 200 runs on, and the opposition only ended up with 7 runs, so 207 runs or something.
That's brilliant. Do you want to give a big shout out to any of the particular young players?
Oh, I think man of the match was one of our Allama Iqbal sort of stalwarts, Ifti, his son Akib. A great all-rounder and keeper as well. Actually, we had to start spin bowling at the end.
Wow.
Because he was a bit too fast, I think, for the young kids that were playing on the other side. It was
like his dad.
like his dad, yeah.
If you are listening, then please pick up the phone and let these guys know exactly what you feel. 0114 Carry on, Shahid.
But yeah, it was. It was the other kids. There was Hisham. There was. They're all great. Rehan, Taha, Heather. The two Heathers. Mashallah, they all did really well. But you have to go back a bit, Matt, because it was about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, where we started the street cricket program in Netherhead Sharrow. Every Saturday morning we do cricket for girls and boys. This was pre-lockdown, by the way. So we've done it for about 2 years. So these kids have all joined that and used to come and play there. And it's from there I referred them on to, and I run that Saturday morning cricket thing. I referred them on to sort of clubs in the city, various clubs. I'm not going to name them because it's not good to name. And they all do great work. But they found their chances were limited, whether that be because of there were only one team in that club that was at their age group, or they were the younger of the other players, or there were other barriers as well, whether that be, I think, as you know, a lot of teams run on volunteers, and so you're looking at, especially if it's a club that's got different age groups, so if the mother of the 10-year-old or 11-year-old is a tea lady on Saturday cricket, and the father plays in the first team, second team, third team kind of thing. So it was those kids seemed to get more preference than the kids that were being referred in. And they all came back to me and they said, look, Shahid, we're not uncle, we're not. The parents came along and said, look, we're not having no joy there. The kids are really disappointed. They're not getting chosen. They're going to all the training. They're doing all this. We're paying the membership fee. We're paying the training fee. But, they're not getting an opportunity. So then this year we decided to have our own team.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, not getting the opportunity, but the coaching wise, and right opposite us, we've got a level 2 cricket coach.
Yep.
It's a perfect opportunity to try and get Ifti tapped into, and hopefully him to
be honest with you, we sort of forward planning this from last year, and over December we had Ifti and Johnny, and we did I think it was about 4 net sessions or six net sessions, I think there were. Something around that. Over 6 weekends we did. Every Sunday we did a net session with about 20 children, and Ifti was there as one of the coaches, and that's where we've been. These things don't happen overnight.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. Sorry, but it's great to see as well that the kids we've sort of coached have now gone on and like me and Johnny thought they would. Gone on and like Shahid has said, absolutely
it is. I mean, I can
today,
obviously
so
the people
brilliant.
listening to us can't see the expression on our faces because we're not on the Facebook Live and anything, but I can see the expression on your face, and it's something that on my side when I do the football coaching, which I've done for years and years now, nothing gives you more satisfaction and enjoyment than seeing one of the kids that you've coached get to a level or actually achieve something and then make something of himself. And it's something that is undescribable for me.
It's brilliant. I mean, it just generally, isn't it, helping people? It's brilliant, whether that's kids or even adults, when you can help someone get some in particular something they really enjoy. Because from what we saw in the sessions, Shahid was there as well. The kids, if nothing else, they just seemed like they loved the game. They loved cricket. They loved being there, which is a rarity now because they don't get off their
it's very
PlayStations and whatever else. So it was great to see them out there having fun, because that's what it's all about. Like yourself, Shahid as well, myself, how many friends and sort of people along the way you've met playing sport, and they've been they end up being like me and you, for example. We met at through football, and you end up being friends with them for years to come.
It opens doors to something that the Xbox, the Live, the PlayStations that could never do. You're talking to a screen, whereas when you're physically interacting with people, it's a total different experience. And then, like you've just said, it opens doors and it makes friendships for life. And that's what sport can do to people.
Kids, that's what it was about. When, don't want to sound like an old man, but when I was younger, we'd love it. Just I'd play football on a Sunday for a team, and then I'd come home and I'd get the manager to drop me off at the bottom of the road where all my friends were playing,
so you could carry
so
on.
I could carry on. And then I'd get home about 4 o'clock, get beat up because I'd have mud all over me and not had anything to eat, but it'd be worth it.
And that's the good old days. And you know what, I can actually relate to exactly what you just said, and something, you know, that's memories that's gone
I mean,
by.
I heard, you know, I know we were on about cricket, I heard something the other day, and I didn't know this. Apparently when Rooney scored the goal against Arsenal, you know, his first goal.
First for Everton.
Apparently he went home and then went and played football with his mates on the park. So it's just like, you know, something.
It is
unreal. That just never goes
as
away.
much as I absolutely love that feeling and love that what you've just said, that the problem, unfortunately, in both not just football and cricket, the academies at all these different clubs, whether it's county cricket, whether it's football in itself, you know, I'm a person that actually detests the academies. And the reason why I say that is once you get a child, whether it's in a football academy or a cricket academy, it tends to be, right, you are ours now, and you cannot do anything else. So the days of what you've just explained, where Rooney scored the goal, the cracker of a goal against, you know, for Everton, he went then and played with his mates. If that happened now, if a young Mason Greenwood did that now for Manchester United and went and played in Old Trafford or around the outskirts, he would be shot. He would be taken to town by Manchester United, and that's what happens. And that, I think, you know what, the clubs need to think a little bit more to allow children a bit more freedom to express themselves away from the club and have that extra friendship group to allow them to flourish.
But you know one thing, Mac, I just want to say, you know, in Sheffield, in Rotherham as well, there's a large cricketing community, and I am really surprised that more teams aren't around, especially from the South Asian community. I mean, I know that a lot of people play into... Look, the issue for me is I want cricketers to thrive, especially within our community. Whatever sport they do, we're here to support and develop our youngsters. Now, I've been talking a lot to people, and it's always been, we haven't got a club. I mean, this is where it started at. It was like, look, we need our own club before we could do anything. And I was like, yeah, but why don't you do it? You can have a team. There's enough council pitches, because we play on AstroTurf anyway as young children. Get a team, get a couple of teams. I mean, I'd love some volunteers to come along, or parents of younger kids, who next year, when these lot move up to under 13s, they can then take on the reins of the under 11s and work with them, because it's not possible. It's not an easy thing to do alone. I mean, thankfully, I've got help from a few of my cousins who played cricket at a good level as well. One played for Yorkshire, got a bit lazy, but Mohsin, I don't know if you know him. Left armour. So he's helping out as well, and another one, and thankfully one or two parents as well. But you know, we need to try and enthuse more people across the city, especially from our own communities, to get involved. I mean, I said, look, clubs are there, you know, grounds, etc. Yes, we want them, because then we can do a lot more. But you know, you need to have something first to be able to then go to the likes of Yorkshire Cricket and whatnot to say, look, we're developing, we need further support, give us help.
What would you say why we're lacking on that side, Ifti?
In terms of what clubs?
Why haven't we got more representation? You know, we've got the Asians in particular teams, we've got 2 or 3 in each one, but why haven't we got, not that, listen, and I don't want our listeners to think, oh, here we go again, Asian-only cricket teams or Asian-only football teams. You know, we don't want to go down that route. We want to integrate. There might be non-Asians listening to this and might be saying, well, you know what? You're not integrating, you're not mixing, you want to make your own teams. Why aren't we?
Well, one thing what I said a few years ago to a friend of mine, we were just sort of chatting sort of generally regarding cricket. And like we talked about Saturday leagues and just generally where you look, and there's a few teams, like you said, what are predominantly, well, 2 that come to mind that are predominantly Asian teams. Now, whether that's by choice or that particular area, whatever, we don't know. But the 2 teams, for example, I'll say one of them is Shire Green Cricket Club. I think you played yourself.
I
there.
have, yes. Yeah. It's fond memories.
Yeah. And for years, I mean, look how long ago you played. For years, that has been, the players have been 1 to 11, at least, you know, sort of 1 to 9, if not 1 to 11, have been Asian. Normally the wicket keeper's not, for some reason.
I'm going to butt in then, right? Because my experience for the short while that I played for Shire Green, because of my time limits, unfortunately, right? I got the feeling, and I don't want to set any Shire Green fans off, or, you know, I'm not criticising anyone. Please don't think this is what I'm doing. This is just my experience, and this is what I'm putting across. The club, yes, was Shire Green. The players in majority, yes, was of the Pakistani origin or the Asian origin. But the people actually running the teams...
This is what I was going to go on to.
Well, why?
So this, and still, right now, it's the same thing. I'll give you an example of what happened to this club recently, and I don't want to go into, like, the same as you, I don't want to criticise people or anything like that, but long story short, a guy has come into the cricket club and sort of said, right, I want to come into this to Shire Green. I want to take over the captaincy of the first team, and I want to sort of give some funding. And, you know, without going into too much details, basically, he was going to give some funding to the club. Now, having played for clubs that are not predominantly Asian, they're sort of, for example, the club near you, Wickersley, how do they raise most of their money? Drinks behind the bar. We don't drink, you know, majority of the people in our community, from our community, don't drink, so we find it difficult to raise money from the bar. But there's so many other things we could do, but we don't. So anyway, this guy's come in and he's said, you know, I'll do this and I'll do that, and we'll get the players tracksuits and blah blah blah. Brilliant, all, you know, a lot of the players, and then there was a vote and the players voted this guy in because obviously they thought, you know, great, and the committee members at Shire Green voted this guy in. And to be honest, I can see from their point of view why they did, because they probably thought for years on end no one's come in and, you know, said this. Now this season, with it being a shortened season, this guy has decided not to enter his team. And
not at all?
Not at all. So Shire Green have entered a second team, but they've not entered a first team. And you know the reason why they've not entered it? Because this guy said there's too much responsibility.
Wow.
As in, there was rumours that he said he couldn't get the players, but the second team have got a team. That doesn't make sense, because the second team they'd just step into the first team. So the responsibility was simply, obviously, the committee members said, look, we don't want to be at the obviously they're not doing teas anyway. You bring your own tea. So they were saying we'll do the ground, but we're not going to be there to open up the ground on the match days. So all these guys simply had to do was get to the ground, open it up, have someone watching the toilets, basically making sure you know that there was only one person going at a time, etc. Just small little things, but that was too much. So he decided to not enter the team and start again next year. And this is the problem we have. This is the biggest problem. And I've said for years, and I'm talking, how many years has it been? It must be 20 years. Yeah. It must be 20 years where majority of that first team has been Asian. Why is there not a single person, a secretary or a chairman or a treasurer or somebody who's taken a different sort of responsibility within that club?
I'll tell you why. Because my background, as you guys know, is football. I've been doing football since I got my badges way back in the early 90s, and I've run teams in Huddersfield, I've run teams in Sheffield, I've run teams in Rotherham. Unfortunately, when it comes to the Asian mentality and the Asian acknowledgement and interaction within a team, it's not there. We want to turn up, we want our kids to play, and we want to go straight away. We don't want to put things away. We don't want to do anything on the night.
Sorry, that's why when these new rules have come out within the Saturday Cricket League, and you know, there's a running joke, because what you have to do is you have to turn up in your whites, you have to finish the game and go home. So they said it'll be absolutely perfect for Shire Green because that's what they do anyway. So that's what we do. Well, that's what they do. They turn up in their whites, they play cricket, and they go home. So it's a normal Saturday for them.
This is one of the things that we've been fighting. I mean, I've been fighting for the last couple of years. I've been to a number of Yorkshire Cricket Board meetings, and one of the things that I've always fought for is about having people on the boards of cricket boards, within clubs. Why is it that, like Shire Green, there are good people out there actually, and let's not say there isn't. There are a lot of good people from the South Asian community who want to get involved. I mean, at the minute I'm on the Ben Jessup under 11 committee. I've been, I'm part of that. I'm part of, I don't know what else they put me in, but they're wanting people to get involved, and people think it takes a lot of time and effort, and don't want to give that time. I think we have to recognise the fact that we want it easy as well. I'm not saying there is unconscious bias there. There is, I'm not saying they're racist. That is sometimes a harsh word. It does. I'm not saying it doesn't occur. It does occur, but there's a lot of unconscious bias in the decision making and things what they do. I've had some frank conversations over the last few years, but there's also the thing about why don't you guys get involved at the club? One of the things that we have to recognise is that the clubs are being run by a lot of white elderly men now. The younger sort of cricketing generation isn't coming through in the white community. The majority of cricket that is being played, or a large amount of cricket that's being played, is by the South Asian contingent. That's Indian, Pakistani, Sri Lankan, and also the African Caribbean community as well. The white British community is playing less and less cricket every year. Thankfully, for the World Cup last year, that sort of changed. There's been a real influx of under-9s, under-11 teams this year. There would have been a lot more because of COVID. Obviously, they've reduced that down. There may be very much a detrimental effect going into next year if those kids decide that they're not interested in cricket anymore, because that was 2 years ago that England won the World Cup.
But there's always, whenever such a World Cup happens, whether it's football, cricket, whether it was netball with the England ladies in the Olympics, there's always an upsurge.
Of course, it's capturing that upsurge, isn't it? But because of COVID, that upsurge has just fizzled out quite a bit.
I've got a question here for you, right? Which is along the lines of where you've come from, but it sort of hampers it a little bit because you said the first thing we need to do is get onto committees. We need to get involved. But would you not just say, hypothetically speaking, we get a ground full stop and we build on that ground. We start at one club and we start from the bottom all the way up.
This
and
is
go
what it'll be like. And this is where I say, no, let me come in here, Mike. The thing is, this is where we get ahead of ourselves. You know what? If you built something from the ground up, like we've got an under 11 cricket team at the minute, right? Hopefully next year we'll have under 13. We'll try and get somebody. Zaid might come along to manage the under 11s. We've got a structure in place that's starting. We've got the Allama Iqbal Sunday Cricket League, which has got a number of teams there. We've already planned this out for a possibility that we can use 2 teams from there to play on the ground. We can have midweek, we can have Saturday League cricket from there and all sorts. Now, if you want to do it the other way around, where you get a club first.
No. I'm just here.
I'll just say you get given a club by a committee of people who some of may not have interest in cricket, and it has happened in the recent past somewhere that I know very well. They end up infighting. They end up not doing it for the right reasons, which is cricket and the promotion of cricket and the playing of cricket. Now, sorry, go on. I think we're going to run out of time. So
no. I understand what you're saying, but I kind of understand where Mac's coming from. I'm just going to make a quick point. I know what you're saying, and this is what baffles me. How in Sheffield, like you said, there's so many people from the Asian community that are. There's so many, like Nether Edge have got about 7 teams in one league. So there's so many people involved in cricket here. And if you go to Birmingham, there's a cricket club called Attock Cricket Club. That is a Asian cricket club from top to bottom. So like Max said, it's brilliant. They're like they're playing the Birmingham Cricket League. They're very professionally set up, and teams obviously that are not. They're just not in an Asian league. Basically, they'll go and they'll visit, and you want these other teams to get the little bit of sort of, for example, it'd be great if we had an Asian team here in a Saturday league where a non-Asian team would visit that team and think, you know what a great setup, great ground.
I'm going to stop you. I'm going to quickly get this phone call.
No problem.
Going right towards the
No problem.
end.
No problem.
Who's on the line? You've got a couple of minutes. Quickly.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us?
Hello?
Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're on. We can come in.
Am I live?
Mike, your mic's down.
Oh, sorry, my mic's down. Yeah, go on. Who's speaking?
Excellent. Can I speak to Ifty, please?
Yeah, of course you can.
Is that right arm swinging bowler? Is it?
Who's on the line?
It's Jimmy.
David.
Oh, hi. How? You okay?
I'm fantastic. Fingered here. If you have that.
He's listening. Put your point across. You've got a couple of minutes to put your point across.
Just tell him to stop talking rubbish. He hasn't got a clue about cricket.
Jimmy.
He's been hammered all over.
Jimmy, you're still getting ducks.
I think it was on a Wednesday.
Hopefully
Jimmy.
next week we can get you in this.
He's a good lad.
Hopefully we can get you in next week, Jimmy, and we can see what Ifty has to say to that.
Phone back next week, Jimmy.
Just take it on easy on Ifty, please. Lovely lad.
Jimmy, it was nice. It was nice to see you yesterday. All I can say is lockdown's not being kind to you. Get on that treadmill, kid.
COVID's still high at the moment. So be careful.
Yeah, he's been on the bike quite a bit. Jimmy has with Johnny.
With Johnny,
Right,
he has,
inshallah,
yeah.
Keep it up and see you soon, boys.
Inshallah, we'd love
mate.
to have you in the studio sometime. All right, take care. Khadafis.
No, Matt, you don't want him in the studio.
Listen, I'm here to facilitate. I'm not here to get involved in any of your arguments.
So
right?
just to finish that up, I think you were right, Mike.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice if that happened, and I'm surprised it hasn't. It's just a shame.
We will, inshallah, next time we get together again, we'll touch on that. But all I'd like to say is, thank all my three of my guests, Ifty, Zahid and Shahid. I hope our listeners have enjoyed what we've got to say. Sometimes we've just gone on a little bit too much on the subject, but you know what, when you're passionate about something, when something comes across so good, you want to carry on. And I did try and convince and twist their arms to carry on for another half an hour, but the guys have got other things to do and we can do that. And but please, Monday Night Sports every Monday night, 8 till 10 p.m. We'll be back next week. Again, all I can say is cricket will be on at 9 o'clock every week, like we have. Once the football season is over, we'll look at changing it and giving more airtime to that and getting more captains on. But thank you very much for listening. Take care. Hope you have a lovely week to come, and all being well, inshallah. We will see you in a week's time. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
The latest updates